Welcome everyone to ECM 273, National Electrical Code Interpretation. Would like to discuss some concepts for week number 1. First of all, the National Electrical Code is published by NFPA. NFPA stands for the National Fire Protection Association, and the formal designation for the National Electrical Code is NFPA 70. The National Electrical Code follows a format that we call a code cycle. A code cycle is a period of time 3 years in length, and during the course of that code cycle, changes are made. In other words, things are added to the code, things are removed from the code, sections of the code, articles of the code may be relocated. Sometimes there's a renumbering that occurs during a code cycle, but it's important to keep in mind this idea of the 3-year code cycle. Currently in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the National Electrical Code, we are in the 2017 code cycle. The National Electrical Code, I will tell you, as a publication, is not the most user-friendly book to use. What we're going to do in our study of the code over the course of the semester is to try to structure an approach that I like to call the chapter, article, section method. We're going to learn how the National Electrical Code, as a publication, how it's organized by chapter, what specific information would be contained in each of the chapters. For example, when we talk about a very common topic, grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding is Article 250, which would mean it would be contained within Chapter 2 of the code. So the chapter, article, section method. The section is the actual code language that we would use to cite a particular situation, or if you were to have, for example, an inspection by what we call an AHJ, the authority having jurisdiction, and you were to be red tagged, let's say, on a particular wiring procedure or installation, what would be cited would be the particular section of the code that you may be in violation of with a wiring procedure. So we're going to study the structure of the code, in effect how the book is laid out. We're also going to talk about what are called NRTLs. NRTL stands for a nationally recognized testing laboratory. And when you read through section 1 in your text, you will see several NRTLs that are listed. Probably the 3 most common ones: UL, Underwriters Laboratory; CSA, the Canadian Standards Association; and then FM or FM Global, where FM stands for Factory Mutual. OSHA keeps a list of the NRTLs as well, and the purpose of the nationally recognized testing laboratories, they in effect test electrical products. They will subject electrical products to maybe extreme values of temperature, values of voltage, for example, to just see how well an actual electrical product is going to perform. When we talk about nationally recognized testing laboratories, we're interested in what we call the listing and labeling of an electrical product. The labeling information, for example, would be information that UL or CSA or Factory Mutual would place on the actual electrical product. The listing information would be the information that we would typically read in a publication called the UL White Book, where you can go back and take a look at what the actual testing procedure was on a particular piece of equipment. So we're going to be interested in the nationally recognized testing laboratories as they played a role in the development of the National Electrical Code. I think you're going to be pretty surprised to learn that the very first edition of the National Electrical Code, let's say, hit the streets way back in 1897. It was probably about 20 years after Thomas Edison's invention of the incandescent light bulb. So the history is very, very important. What we're going to see in week number 2 of the course, I'm going to have you view a video that's called The War of the Currents. And what the War of the Currents does, it gives you some historical perspective on DC electrical systems, AC electrical systems, and ultimately how alternating current became the electrical system of choice. It's going to discuss historically how the folks fit into the situation Thomas Edison, a proponent for DC or direct current, Nikola Tesla, and George Westinghouse, who were proponents for AC or alternating current. Thank you.